Humans on the cardboard. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're looking at more TEARALAMENTS cards. In fact, 4 TEARALAMENTS cards. Yeah. The reason that's so surprising to me is because if we look at the OCG metagame breakdown from like the last week or whatever of tournaments in the OCG, TEARALAMENTS is literally the second best deck in the game. Splites are the clear favorite. But TEARALAMENTS are number 2, and they've actually been on the rise. They've gotten a little bit more, success since then, and I think that has to do partly because of the dual slip pyroxene stuff, and this stuff will also probably factor into that as well. I wouldn't be surprised if down the line we literally end up with like a bracket like this in the OCG where it's like 30 to 40% for Splite, and maybe like 20 to 25% for TEARALAMENTS. Something in there. I would not be shocked. It's a really good deck, okay? Let's just keep that in the frame, and then we get 4 new cards. So let's jump into them. The first one here is TEARALAMENTS Lulucaros. This is a level 8 water aqua fusion monster. 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense, big stats. This one requires 1 TEARALAMENTS Lulucaros plus 1 TEARALAMENTS monster. So I believe the Lulucaros is like the other bigger fusion. I want to be sure on that. Let me see. No, what's the other one? Whoa. Okay, I actually don't know what this name is then. I looked it up. I don't see that name in here at all from cards we know. So I guess it's possible we're supposed to be getting another TEARALAMENTS monster? Okay. There we go. All right, I guess we'll find out about that later. Okay, so you can use its second and third effects once per turn each. The first one reads the first effect. Your other aqua monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Fine, that's just a bonus effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes special summoning a monster, quick effect, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then send a TEARALAMENTS card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. And the third effect, if this card is fusion summoned, if this fusion summoned card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon this card. That's pretty good because that means like this card's cost kind of circumvents itself with the third effect. If you need to send this just to get that negate, you can just reborn it. This isn't the most amazing card, but it is another option. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being just like a teched in one of. Other than that, I'm very, very curious what this name is. From the support, I'm running through it right now from the cards we already have, and I don't see any monsters with that name. So I guess we'll find out what that means. Also, because this is a listed name, stuff like Fusion Deployment becomes a little bit better, a little bit of extra access with that card, which we've seen finally getting play in the competitive scene. So we'll keep an eye out for that. All right, next up we finish up with 3 more spell cards. Okay. First one is TEARALAMENTS Grief. Very cool. Normal spell card, you can only use 1 of its 2 effects once per turn and only once that turn. The first effect reads, special summon a TEARALAMENTS monster or 1 Visa Starfrost from your deck or graveyard. And if you do, send 1 monster you control with the same type or attribute to the graveyard. That's pretty good. That essentially can just make this a Foolish Burial because you can just summon a TEARALAMENTS and then it says, and if you do send 1 monster you control with the same type, so you would just send the monster you summoned, which obviously all the TEARALAMENTS float when they are summoned, so that's pretty good in and of itself. Or send something else. Obviously, I don't know exactly. There might be some other applications there, but for the most part, this just becomes a sort of like a pseudo e-telly, but also like just kind of an extra Foolish Burial, I should say. Pretty good. Not a bad card for them. And the second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one of your banished TEARALAMENTS traps and add it to your hand. It's good. I mean, that's fine. Some of the traps, I think, do banish themselves to make things happen in grave, so being able to recycle them is nice. Not amazing. It'd be better from grave, I think, but we'll take it. Still, the first effect is obviously the main one. Second, next card over here, we have TEARALAMENTS Heartbeats. Very cool. Oh, we actually have the little Scareclaw guy, the little chibi Scareclaw boy. Nice. It's a quick play spell, 2 once per turn effects, and by the way, this is same thing as before. You can only use 1 of these 2 effects. You cannot use both in the same turn. Target 1 spell or trap card on the field. Shuffle it into the deck, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. If you control Visa Starfrost, at activation, you could target 2 spells and traps instead. Not bad. I mean, this is just a, in-archetype back row removal. Technically becomes like an in-archetype Mystic Mine out, which we will take for sure. Maybe it's a one-of you tech in. And if this card's sent to the graveyard by card effect, target a Turalmans trap in your grave, add it to your hand. So the same as the other one, except it adds from grave to hand instead of banish. Like I said, this is maybe a little bit better here, but I do think that one's better at like pushing your engine. This one's just kind of back row removal. I guess it does give you a way to like send a monster via effect, which is very important, especially if you want to play more Shaddolls. That makes this card a little bit better. Pretty cool, not bad. And then we finish up here with the last card here. This is TEARALAMENTS Scream. I do not know who this guy is, but he looks so sick. Please tell me we actually get like confirmation on who this guy is and what he does, because his artwork looks awesome. Okay, TEARALAMENTS Scream. This is a continuous spell card. You can only use both of its effects once per turn. You can use both, by the way. If a monster is normal summoned or special summoned, that's any monster, and you control a TEARALAMENTS monster or Visas to Frost, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Also, all face-up monster your opponent controls loses 500 attack. That is permanent. That's not the worst thing in the world. Because that just means, like, literally going first, you could activate this, and I think just normal summoning a TEARALAMENTS would trigger this to mill 3. So I guess it just gives you ways to mill, which is not the worst thing in the world. It does give you a permanent way to, like, every turn kind of shrink your opponent's monsters, make the board state that much more sticky continuously for them, which is kind of cool. Like, I don't know, not bad. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add a TEARALAMENTS trap from your deck to your hand. Okay, that's a little bit different too. Ooh, that makes this a lot more different. There's a lot of effects in the deck that like do something and then pitch from hand or send from field. So being able to send this and then just add a trap, get an interruption, this card may actually be good. I was going to say that first effect's like okay, but not crazy. But the second effect kind of makes it come through, especially since you could do both of these. So you could literally like use this to mill 3 and then at a different point, like in the same turn, send it and also get a trap. That's pretty good. The fact that it just searches like that. This card could be playable. I think all 4 of these cards could be playable in the deck. Maybe, I don't think they're crazy, and I think that's good because the deck is already like legit tier 1. It feels like Shaddolls, but better. Even though they use some Shaddol cards. But like this card's fine. It might be a one of you just happen to play, but it also might come up with fusion deployment when we get this guy. Maybe Lulucaros actually is this guy here. I don't know. Or it'll be, my guess is this is going to be a new archetype that's revealed in this set. That's my guess. To further the lore, the Visas Starfrost lore. But yeah, really, really cool. Other than that, I think all the spells are solid. This card seems like a decent like engine card. Kind of like an in-archetype Foolish Burial-esque card. They can kind of do some other plays as well, I'm sure. Back removal, nice. Maybe a one-of just for Mystic Mine outs, Floodgate outs, stuff like that. And then this one kind of, we already went over that one. We just talked about it. It's good. I like the fact that it just searches or trap instead of getting recursion for stuff you've already been through. All in all, pretty solid support for a deck that's already really good. Very curious to see what happens with this guy. I don't know why, but he just looks so sick to me. Is there anything else new here? No, these just look like TEARALAMENTS and then him and then her, if I'm looking at that correctly. But very, very cool. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you've already messed around with TEARALAMENTS a little more than I have, please let me know in the comment section any particular interactions that are really cool with any of these new cards or anything that you just think in general is worth noting with other applications. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you again. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe if you have not yet and you want to stay up to date on all things news. This is really good. This is the beginning of like big Darkwing Blast reveals. We already got the first reveal, but they waited a couple weeks. Now I think we're going to just get into like the full-on reveals for the last, 65 cards in the set. And this kicks us off pretty well. So I'm into it. But yeah, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Peace.